In the arid lands of southern Arabia, long before the rise of Islam, and even before the great civilizations of the classical Mediterranean reached their golden age, a mysterious kingdom was born. It was a land of sand and spice, myth and majesty. This kingdom was known as Saba. The Kingdom of Saba, or Sheba, as it is often called in Western texts, began to take shape around the 15th century BCE in what is now modern-day Yemen. It did not rise through conquest or brutality, but through commerce, ingenuity, and diplomacy. The Sabaeans, a South Arabian people of Semitic origin, established one of the most sophisticated and prosperous kingdoms in ancient Arabia. They spoke a distinct language, Sabaic, and carved their messages and laws in stone using a South Arabian script that still fascinates linguists and archaeologists to this day. The early Sabaean society was tribal, but unlike many desert tribes who moved constantly in search of water, the Sabaeans built cities. They tamed the desert using engineering and irrigation, allowing them to settle permanently and develop agriculture. Their capital, Marib, was a marvel of urban planning. Situated at a crucial crossroads of desert trade routes, Marib would become the heart of a vast and powerful trading network. But at this early stage, it was a bold experiment in turning dust into empire. As their settlements grew, so did their political structure. At first, local tribal leaders governed their own regions. But as trade increased, the need for unity emerged. The Sabaeans created a system where kings, called mukaribs, acted as both political and religious leaders, uniting the tribes under one banner and expanding their influence across southern Arabia. This rise wasn't immediate, it took centuries. But by the 8th century BCE, Saba had transformed from scattered tribes into a powerful centralized kingdom. And it was then, at the height of their early success, that they began to build one of the greatest engineering marvels of the ancient world, the Marib Dam. But before that, their greatest strength lay in what they traded, not what they built. The world began to take notice of this desert kingdom, not because of swords or conquests, but because of frankincense, myrrh, spices, and gold. The true engine behind the Sabaean kingdom's power was its control over trade, specifically the incense trade. In the ancient world, incense wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. Frankincense and myrrh, both derived from tree sap, were highly prized in the temples of Egypt, the rituals of Mesopotamia, and the tombs of Greece and Rome. They were burned as offerings to the gods, used to embalm the dead, and believed to have divine powers. Their value rivaled that of gold. But these rare resins grew only in a few places in the world: southern Arabia, Somaliland, and parts of India. And Saba was at the center of it all. The incense route was a vast caravan network that stretched thousands of kilometers, from the coast of Dhofar in present-day Oman and Yemen, all the way to Gaza on the Mediterranean. Sabaean caravans, often with hundreds of camels, transported incense northward through harsh deserts and hostile territories, protected by alliances and armed guards. Cities and outposts were built along the route, offering shelter, water, and markets. Among these waypoints were ancient settlements like Najran, Timna, and Dedan, each playing its part in the supply chain. Saba didn't just sell incense, they taxed and regulated the entire trade. Anyone passing through Sabaean lands paid tribute. In turn, Saba grew wealthy, its coffers filled with silver, spices, and exotic goods from India, East Africa, and even China. This wealth transformed Saba from a kingdom into an empire. And the proof was not just in its gold, but in its stone. Massive temples, royal palaces, paved roads, and administrative centers began to rise. Sabaean inscriptions from this era show a society that valued contracts, treaties, and bureaucracy, elements rare in ancient tribal Arabia. They developed weights and measures, standardized trade regulations, and imposed complex customs duties. Saba, for all its desert location, became a hub of commerce rivaling the cities of the Levant. And perhaps the most fascinating part, they did it all without an army of conquest. Saba didn't expand through war, it expanded through value. Yet with all this success, the Sabaeans knew that such prosperity was fragile. And so they turned to an even greater project, one that would define their legacy for thousands of years.